Talk about the events of September 6, 2016. How did it begin for you?
It began with a phone call from dispatch. I met Captain McGee in the parking lot at Houston Fuel, and we boarded the ship together, went up to the wheelhouse and got set up, making preparations to sail.
Well, the weather was real nice. It was a clear night. Of course, this was a nighttime job, and it started off like every other, nighttime sailing we'd had before. Nothing abnormal. Ship seemed to be in good condition. We had done all the pilot master conference and all that, and talked about traffic. But once we breasted her off the dock with the tugboats, I asked for dead slow astern, and the ship just started racing away. It went from 30 RPMs to over 80 RPMs, and that is sea speed RPMs. So, and all I ever asked for was dead slow. So after that started racing up, after just a few seconds, you could tell it was really speeding up. I asked for stop, and then all the head bells, and got no response from any of those. So asked to drop both anchors, so that we dropped both anchors, and by the time those anchors caught was about the time that we collided with the fender.
I don't think we'd moved a ship length where I thought to myself, we're moving pretty fast here.
And then as soon as we collided, it was like an explosion had gone off. I mean, it was instant flames, instant black smoke. You couldn't see out the windows of the ship. Flames they estimated 300 feet. I don't know. They was well over the top of the wheelhouse. So I was outside on the bridge wing, bringing the ship off the dock. So I stayed out there until we collided. And as soon as we did, the flames came up over me, and I bent down and raced inside to try and get out of the flames. But you still couldn't see anything. It was still just like someone had painted the windows black.
The first piling we made contact with, alighted with, was the piling that was closest to the ship channel, and that hit in front of the accommodations of the ship. It opened up a ballast tank. There was ballast water going everywhere. The second piling that we alighted with is the one that breached the fuel tank. I was on the port bridge wing. I watched it happen. Immediately I saw the initial flash of the fuel, and I thought maybe I should go inside. I took about 3 or 4 steps towards the wheelhouse, and just the blink of an eye, the entire bridge wing was engulfed in flames. I was literally running through a tunnel of fire to get back into the wheelhouse.
So then I thought all we can do is try and get away from all the ships that we were near and all the terminals. So I started using the tugboats to move the ship back out into the ship channel to try and get into the widest place to let it burn. There was no fireboats in the area. There were no really assist boats of any sort. So I knew we were going to have to wait a while. So all I could think of was to get that ship out into the center and hold it until hopefully someone showed up. And that's what we did.
I can hear my partner on the radio, but I don't see him in the wheelhouse. Well, so I went over to the starboard bridge wing door, opened the door, and I'm screaming for Captain McGee to come inside. I know he's out there. He's not inside. He's got to be out there. I could hear him on the radio working his tugs. And finally, Captain McGee came stumbling out of the smoke, and we got him inside the wheelhouse. Again, at that point, all you can see is flame and black smoke from all the windows and portholes in the wheelhouse.
And the crew did a fabulous job as far as manning their fire stations. I mean, they got out there and the flames were all around them. And we had very little water pressure on the hoses, but those guys still hung in there. There's a hero involved in all this. They're definitely the heroes. They were staying down there in what I'm sure seemed like dire situation for them, but they held up and they stayed with it. It was amazing.
So your actions of that evening have come to the attention of a lot of people.
Yes.
Coast Guard, Port of Houston, now the IMO. What do you think about all that? All this, the accolades, the awards, the honors, what do you think about that?
I think it's amazing. I mean, I'm very proud, without a doubt. But I know good and well that all the other pilots would have done exactly the same thing that night. You know, I mean, that's what we do. But I mean, it makes you feel really good that someone thinks you've done a very, very good job at what you do for a living. I mean, that makes you feel really good. But there again, I still feel like all of us would have done the same thing, you know, and being put in that position.